Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. My name is Tolulope Babajide, and I'm the Gender Network Manager at FSD Network. And it is so good to have everyone here, depending on where you're joining us from. It might be morning at your place, it might be afternoon, and it might be evening. But we are so happy to have you here today. Welcome to today's session as part of the annual CFI's Financial Inclusion Week. Over the past 3 years, the FSD Network Gender Collaborative Program, in partnership with CFI, we've organized sessions that are focused on critical issues like women's financial inclusion and the mobilization of capital into women's businesses in Africa. This collaboration has been very crucial in spotlighting the significant strides that we Gender Collaborative Program has made and currently making in deepening financial sectors, in deepening gender into the financial sectors across Africa. Today, we are set for an insightful session on designing for women's segments in Africa, a lever for increased women's financial inclusion. But before we start, there's a quick note to our housekeeping rules. Speaking rights will only be reserved for the moderator and the panelist. However, we encourage you to use the question and answer box for questions and as well as the chat box for introductions. We are so happy to have you here and we are really interested to know where you're joining us from, your name and the organization, and also your position, your title. But before we go into the topic of today, which is about designing for women's segments in Africa and why it is very important for achieving women's financial inclusion in Africa, I want to create a bit of a context. Financial inclusion is very critical for economic growth and opportunities, with women's financial inclusion playing a very significant role in their economic empowerment and gender equality. Nonetheless, African women face multifaceted and interconnected challenges to financial inclusion, ranging from legal and social norms to unsuitable financial products and unintentional gender policies. Today, we are focusing on the challenge of unsuitable financial products. But it's not just about the challenge. You're also going to be sharing a lot of learnings. We are going to be sharing a lot of our success stories on what we've been working on at the FSD Network Gender Collaborative Program. At the FSD Gender Collaborative Program, we have been proactively working with all the financial sector deepening organizations in Africa. For the sake of today's conversation, we are going to be focusing on FSD Tanzania and FSD Mozambique and how we partnered together with them in ideating and implementing projects that focus on innovative product designs and go-to-market strategies, just so that we can enhance the accessibility and the usability of customized products for diverse women segments in Africa. According to the recent FinScope survey 2023 in Tanzania, it shows that there is a 3% gender gap. That is a good news, right? And as well as 12% in Mozambique. This shows a promising trend of narrowing the financial inclusion gender gaps. However, we still have these challenges, particularly for women segments that are in rural areas, that have agricultural livelihoods, that have retail livelihoods. Our partnership with FSD Tanzania and FSD Mozambique has leveraged evidence-based research as well as human-centered design, leading to initiatives like the Gendered Alternative Credit Scoring Project that we have in Tanzania, the digitalization of community microfinance groups, who are otherwise known as the savings and loans groups, also the Gender Smart Innovative Facility Program in Mozambique. Today, we will hear from my colleagues from FSD Tanzania and Mozambique as well. But not just from my colleagues from FSD Tanzania and Mozambique. We've been working actively with diverse financial service providers, and we have few of them here. They are going to be talking about, they are going to be sharing with us examples of, they are going to be sharing learnings, success stories on the projects that we are partnering with them on. But before we go into that, please permit me to introduce my able and esteemed panelists. That is Annabella Mabota from FSD Mozambique. We have Linnea Okafor. She's the CEO of Tambani Africa Group. We have Apisolo from FSD Tanzania. And we have Sachi from Tigo Tanzania. Thank you very much. But Api, are you ready for me? Because I'll be starting with you. Hello, Api. Good morning, good afternoon to you.
Hi, Tolu. Good afternoon to you.
Okay.
Good afternoon to everybody.
Thank you, and thank you for accepting to be on this session with us. So I will start with this. Can you discuss how the partnership with FSD Tanzania and the FSD Network Gender Collaborative Program on the Gendered Alternative Credit Scoring Project and digitalization of community microfinance groups has supported the country's goals for women's economic and financial inclusion in Tanzania? Over to you. And if you want me to repeat that question, I will go ahead and do that.
No, it's all right, Tolu. Thank you so much for setting the tone for this discussion today. It is indeed a pleasure for me to be part of this learning process. So to answer the question, I'll start off by just quickly sharing what the FSDT's mandate is. So the financial sector deepening Tanzania is driving an agenda towards finance for growth and well-being of underserved women and youth. And this has really been the core of our operation, because based off of the FinScope study that was conducted last year, you would see there is still some work that needs to be done to address the gender gap. But also when you look at the youth between the age of 16 and 25, you will see that there's 51% of them who are currently financially excluded. So the objective that we are currently driving as financial sector deepening Tanzania is to really complement the efforts that the government is doing towards addressing this gap. And we know the impact that financial services have on economic empowerment. So in that context, we at FSDT have collaborated with FSD Africa to really drive initiatives that will help address these challenges. And one of the project, or two of the key projects that we're currently working together, is the gendered alternative credit scorecard, mostly looking at how we can bring in women farmers in two key value chains, which are pulses and dairy. And this is actually very much informed by another project that we had done on alternative credit scoring for sugarcane farmers. So based off of what we had seen in sugarcane, at least the proportion of women was not that large. So we needed to see how can we reach women in value chains where their proportion is high. And so we collaborated with the gender collaborative program so that we can now reach those women in those value chains that are currently not being supported. And we understand the importance of alternative data in scoring is really now bringing in or addressing the challenge of information asymmetry, because we see using the traditional way of scoring does not really capture or does not really bring in the life experiences and economic experiences that these farmers or individuals go through, which could help in strengthening their credit worthiness and unlock financial services to them. So we are currently implementing that project, and it's currently underway at the stage of data collection. and that will really help in unlocking additional value added services to the farmers in these two value chains. But also another project that we are currently collaborating with the Gender Collaborative Program is the community microfinance groups digitization. These are the usual savings and loans groups. However, in Tanzania, based off of the Microfinance Act that was released in 2018, these groups are now recognized as formal financial services, and they are categorized as a tier 4. And so instead of just calling them savings and loans groups, they are now called community microfinance groups. And if you look at the statistics, you will see 12% of Tanzanians are actually financially excluded through these community microfinance groups. And large percent, about 70% of these groups are women. And so at the FSDT, we thought for us to be able to spearhead the goal of including more women into the financial sector, it is worth continuing our journey towards enabling them to have access to digital financial services. So what the project really does is to automate or to digitize the transactions that are currently recorded on paper, which are prone to errors, which are prone to also risks in terms of keeping the money in those boxes instead of keeping them in a form of financial setting or in a digital wallet like what the digitization offers. So this also addresses the challenge of theft and also gives visibility to the group members in terms of the movement of funds from one individual to another, but also it helps individual members to begin to create their own transaction trail or transaction trends, which in the long run can help them unlock additional financial service offerings as per the FSPs offerings. So off of these key projects that we're currently doing, we are actually addressing the areas that we focus on as FSD Tanzania, whereby we really intervene or facilitate the financial sector market in across 4 areas. We look at the regulations and policies that impact access to financial services for women, youth, and also the overall population. But also we look at the financial sector infrastructure that is currently not there to enable access to financial services. And also we look at the financial services. As Tolu was talking initially, you will see financial solutions exist, but most of them do not really address the dynamics and nuances or needs of women. And so we also intervene in terms of ensuring that those products that address the needs are in the market and reaching the women. And the other aspect that we look at is really looking at the capability of these women and youth in terms of enabling them to be able to demand and use or access these financial services. So the 2 projects that we are collaborating with Gender Collaborative Program on is really to address the infrastructure aspect in terms of the Gender Alternative Credit Scorecard to really make it conducive for the financial service providers to have sufficient data to establish creditworthiness of the women and also to be able to offer the credit that's duly supposed to be given to women for them to enhance their economic empowerment. But also the other project that we are working on, which is the CMG, is really now addressing the solution bit in terms of helping build the capability and confidence of women to utilize the digital financial services that are out there. I will end there, Tolu, in case.
Thank you very much, Aki, for expatiating on the 2 projects. And you said it all. Achieving women's financial inclusion is not by chance. It's something that has to come with intentionality and innovation. And you spoke about the Gender Alternative Credit Scoring Project, which is very critical. We African women have always been saving. African women, especially women, smallholder farmers, women in retail that are retail traders, they've always been loaning money within themselves for such a long time. They've been supplying aggregators, off-takers for a long time. And these are the alternative data sets that we need to consider so that they can be transitioned into the formal financial systems. Thank you very much. And you also talked about the CMGs, community microfinance. We are particularly proud of the work that we are doing with FSD Tanzania on this project because we've seen how much this product itself, Tigo Kigoba, has been accepted by the market in Tanzania, and it has surpassed our expectations. And that takes me straight to Sachi. Hello, Sachi.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Hi, Sachi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you
Okay,
doing?
thank you very much for being here with us. And you've Tigo has been a great partner of FSD Tanzania and an extension to us as well as a gender collaborative program. I will want you to share with the audience what the inspiration behind Tigo Kikoba and the reception in the market, how has FSD Tanzania supported this initiative? Why Tigo Kigoba, and what is Tigo Kigoba for every participant, every attendee that is on this call today that is wondering what is Tigo Kigoba, what is it for, why do we need why do we need Tigo Kigoba? Over to you, Sachi.
All right. Thank you very much, Tolu. I'm glad to be part of this panel to share our experience in this area. And we say good afternoon or good morning to everyone listening to us at this moment, wherever you may be. Let me give you a bit about what Tigo provides. It is simply savings in groups. And in Africa, we know this has been around for time from time immemorial. Our women save in groups, they help one another. And so our way was to digitize and to make it more efficient and functional. So it could be as simple as what you know as merry-go-round, where we put money today, give it to this person, the next month or week, give it to the other person, it goes around until everyone receives and it starts going back. That could be as simple as that. It could be as simple as family and friends putting money together for a certain function in nature. It could be to prepare a home, to travel for a party, for a wedding that is also there. It could also be a bit complex or a more developed, as in an association or as in a business where people put their money together and now they put in the bank and now they can actually borrow from it, okay, and pay interest when you borrow from it. And then there was even something even have penalties for those who contribute late. And they can also be social contributions within that, as in funerals and weddings and engagement or marriage ceremonies and all that. And then at the end of the year, they share their dividends. So they put money together, they put it in the bank, it generates interest. At the end of the year, they come together, they share according to how much you are participating. Usually, you have 3 people leading. You have a chairman of the group, you would have your treasurer, and then you have your secretary. But they do all these things, putting them on. And so we came in to digitize this business. But let me share my personal experience why so much for this product and what motivated me to push for this. I joined, I've been in Tanzania for about 5 years now. I joined a sister company for Zanzibar called Zanta. And so we were operating in Zanzibar mainly and along the coast of mainland Tanzania. And I wanted to recruit a lot of men into what we call worker to become mobile agents. Because I realized a lot of economic activities happening at that level, but they were not documented. So what I did, we needed to go informal. You speak to these ladies or these women. Do you have any form of reports? Some will say, oh, some will say, sometimes they you to the group leader who will show you the books and all that. And so there was nothing like formality, no bank account and all that. So we need to go unconventional way to put these women into the agent network for them to make additional money. What do we do? We have to go through this for them based on recommendation by their group leaders. In some cases, we use an opinion leader. In some cases, we're lucky to have some of our super agents recommending them to be part of the agency network for mobile money, cash in and cash out. That was successful. And so I got to know that we can go a bit more formal. That to be good. But when the opportunity came for us to digitize savings, it became more, let me say, it became more encouraging because you know that this time we can actually do it better with the digitization. And I know this challenge also goes for the banks, for some of the microfinance banks who struggle with tools to assess the credit worthiness of these women. So they are unable to help them. And I'm speaking from a practical point of view, not reading books. These are practical issues that are faced on the ground. And so when this opportunity came, we were motivated in so many ways. First, we thought that it should be a way to empower our women to do more. They travel to go and put this money physically. With the phone, they can now do their contributions and track their contributions so they can do more. And with tracking of their contributions, they can even track the contribution of other members of the group. So if you have partners in the group, you can either track what others are doing. And whenever somebody contributes, and that's sent to all the members to show that this person has contributed this. And we're a reminder that contribution is due. So we are now giving them trust in the system so they can do more. It doesn't mean that we had so many other ones. By doing this, we're also giving them formal record so they can do something else. So with your formal record, you can actually create a statement of contribution for you. So whatever you want to do for, whether you want to go for loan or prove that you have financial records, we can give it to you.
Hi, Sachi.
Hello.
We are really struggling to hear you, but I will come back because I still want to ask you a question about that. But maybe you can remove the headphones and yes. Yes, but I will be back shortly to you so that we can take all the questions. But I will be back because I know that people are really interested in knowing about Tigo Kigoba. And then, but I will twist it on the head now, by going to Lillian. Hi, Lillian. Hi, Lillian. Hi, Lillian. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hi, Tolu. How are you?
I'm fine. And, when we started, thank you so much for joining us. As the CEO of Tambani Group, Tambani African Group, which is a fintech organization in Mozambique, and which has been a part of the Gender Smart Innovation Facility in Mozambique. How would you say the Gender Smart Innovation Facility, implemented by FSD Mozambique and the Gender Collaborative Program, has helped Tambani Group Africa to better understand the market and meet the needs of your market in Mozambique? Just 3 minutes, please.
Right. Thank you, Tolu. Just straight to the question. Tembani intention or objective is to improve access to finance for women and youth in Mozambique and by extension other SMEs. And when we joined the GSIF program, the training was human-centered design approach. So although we already have a mindset of what the product is going to be, what minimum viable product we are looking at, but being part of that program also gave us some clarity to go back to the drawing board to understand what are the challenges that women are facing. What do they need? Why is it that some products are not really fit for this sector? So we went back to women group, we went back to speak to the actual people we want to use these products, and we came back with an amazing feedback. We are able to understand their thinking, their mindsets, their challenges, and everything they go through. So I would say clearly that the program helped us in the final product design, to understand the sector we want to serve, what they think, what their emotions are, what their concerns are, what their limitations are, not what we are thinking in the office, but what really they feel. So it is very helpful. And we came out with an amazing product. I'm sure I will have opportunity to share what has been the outcome of this amazing initiative by FSD Network.
Thank you very much, Lillian, for going straight to the answers, which is, instead of sitting back in the office and trying to assume this is what the needs of your target market are, you actually went to meet your target market. You got to know your target market, not just knowing them because you needed to design a product for them. You got to know how they live, where they live, what their motivations for taking on a financial product is, and what will constantly help you to even refine your product. So that is one of the testimonies that we've had consistently from the cohort members of the Gender Smart Innovation Facility, and we're very proud of the program. We funded Gender Collaborative Program, funded the phase 1 of GSIF, and currently we are in the phase 2, and Tanzania Africa Group has been both in the phase 1 and in the phase 2 with 2 different products. So we are really, really proud of you, Lillian, and your team. But quickly going to Annabella. Hello, Annabella.
Hi, Tolu.
So I would say that the GSIF has been very unique, because it has it's not just about solving the challenges on the supply side, which is the financial institutions, but basically also working actively with the regulatory authorities, which is very important because policies determine the rise and fall of any kind of product or any innovation within a market. But I would say that how has the work with the regulatory authorities, how has it shifted the ecosystem in Mozambique? How has the work, the engagement, the policy dialogues, the policy advisory, how has it helped to change the ecosystem in the shift? Has it led to a significant shift in policies? And what else can we be expecting? Over to you, 3 minutes, please.
Okay, thank you, Tolu. Actually, we offered through the GSFI, we developed what we call the Gender Policy Guidance Note that brings best practices, which is this really a framework that brings some roles that enabling environmental market players can use and to address challenges that markets they're facing. So we are working with all enabling environments to support implementation of this policy guidance note. And the framework also bring an actionable recommendation plan to address existing disparities and promote collaboration among related policy regulators and policymakers. What have changed, Tolu? We are really working with the central bank in various activities, but one of them is that we are able to identify some needs that the central bank also did not know. And then we are now in the process of bringing a call for solution at a sandbox for women. And this is quite innovative. And I think the other part, for instance, we are also working with the Ministry of Gender and Child and Social Welfare, and we identify their needs, and they indicate that they need capacity, for instance, to be able to align policy sectors to ensure that women are really included. So we are still assessing the needs of the Minister of Agriculture, because we have rural farmers, women rural farmers that also are financial users, and they do transactions. So they need to also to know what are the safeguards when doing transactions within their sector. So I think I'll pause there.
Thank you very much, Annabella, and thank you for telling us about how you've engaged the different regulatory authorities. In this case, it will be the Central Bank of Mozambique, the Ministry of Gender, the Ministry of Agriculture, and I know that you have also had a lot of conversations with the insurance regulatory authorities too, which is very critical, you know, being able to have a program that looks at both the demand, the supply, as well as the regulatory. And that is when we can say we are going to have a success story that is going to be sustainable even after the completion of a particular project or a program. So thank you, Annabella. I will go back to Sachi, because I think people struggled a bit to hear what he was saying. Hi, Sachi, can you hear me now? Is it better?
I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Okay, thank you. This is really better. I think we have to like enough speed up because we are right on the time now. So
where did you lose me?
I can hear you now, Sachi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you too.
Yes, you spoke about the motivation why Tigo decided to design Tigo Bar, which is really about there's a lot of money that is being left on the table because a lot of transactions were being, was going on within the groups, and not designing or not understanding the needs of these groups and being able to use that to design an appropriate product. It's like not taking, not taking advantage of the opportunity and not being impactful as well. But I would say that Tigo Kikoba was launched in April. And since this launch, I know of a truth because I'm part of that project also. I know that there's been several value-added services that Tigo has introduced alongside with the launch. So it's not just about launching a product, the value-added services. What will you say these value-added services are? And how has it contributed to the product's popularity among women in the saving groups? And also you can mention the areas, the state, maybe provinces where Tigo Kikoba, how is it doing now in terms of numbers, in terms of the numbers of groups, the numbers of women. If you can give us that sex disaggregated data, we'll be very happy. But please go ahead. 3 minutes.
I'll do that. I'll summarize in 3 minutes. Thank you very much. So we've had a number of innovations around this product. That is why we are onboarding a number of people. But let me just mention the contribution of FSDT, your partners here. Right from the product design, from the launch to the design of the field work, design of the pilot areas to select, we've worked with them, utilizing their market access program. And so we selected 2 provinces to check with, to start with. Okay, so there's a Morogoro area and there's a Singida area. These are huge provinces in Tanzania. And one area where we are very strong, Tigo is very strong, and the other area where we are not so strong. We wanted to see the impact. But telling the truth, both areas have received the product very well. And so what we are mobilizing, I say major motivation was that whatever we mobilize is at the bank. And so we're also mobilizing for national development. All the monies we mobilize go back to the bank. And so we are mopping up excess liquidity in the system that goes back to the bank for national development. And so with all these motivations, we couldn't stop there. With the selection of the CBTs, the training of the CBTs as community-based trainers, the CMGs being community microfinance groups, they all came on board. And after the training and onboarding, I can tell you now we have about 15,000 groups which is, you may say that, well, you'll be clapping, but from our Tigo point of view, we believe that we can even do more. And we have about 55,000 individual members contributing. And on a daily basis, we are seeing about 1,000 to 1,500 people are taking action. Either they are contributing money or they are taking money. In total, we have about over 80% are women. Let me put it that way. About 80% are women, which is very phenomenal to say that we are actually on course achieving what we set to do. We've brought about a number of innovations along the line. And back to my experience on the ground, we noticed that whenever you put women into the financial inclusion ecosystem, they do better. They are more trusted and they're able to keep the finances well if you teach them how to do it and they accept to do it. This has been evident. I'm not reading books, I'm telling what I've seen on ground. And so we decided to make some of them agents. So you see, to be able to put money into the ecosystem, to save money into your group, you need to take the money to an agent to put it on your phone before you can contribute. And so the best way to do this is to make members of the group agents, right? So that they know the people, they can even do it for them. It's an innovation that we are working on. Again, some members do not have handsets. And so sometimes they give their money to somebody else to put the money on to contribute for them. And so we are promoting low-end handsets through device financing so that they can also come on board. Again, when we go, we also talk about our SIM cards and our enhanced network across the country. But the major innovation we brought to this table is that the Tigo Kikoba accepts everybody, whether you're on Tigo network or you're on another network, which is key. What we find on the market, if you are on the network A, you cannot accept people from network B. We said no. Ours is network agnostic. It doesn't matter the network you are, you can still contribute to your group on this. So that is key, and people are really, really accepting that. But the biggest thing we are doing now is that there's a fund called TASA, Tanzania Social Action, that's a poverty alleviation fund. And they contribute or they distribute billions of shillings, let me say millions of dollars in that sense, every year. And so we have been able to start a partnership with them, which I'm going to talk to Happy next week. So far, they are giving us a pilot access to about 1,000 groups, which will have about 4,000 to 5,000 members. That's just for the pilot phase. Once you're able to strike this, the numbers are going to grow significantly. What we want to do there, normally I see it on the network. When these people are paid their money, within a day or two, the money is withdrawn and is gone. And so we are talking to them, why don't you save a bit of it so that we can encourage savings and we can encourage some, what we call wealth creation for them as well. And so doing, keep some money at the bank for these same people to go and borrow to do their business. These innovations are helping us a lot in doing what we're doing. And so right from the design stage, the thinking stage, the implementation stage, and the market go-to-market stage, we have worked with FSDT all the way. And we believe with this partnership, we can even do more in the coming years to onboard as many women as possible to bring them into the financial inclusion bracket. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sachi, and I'm so happy. I feel like jumping right now because you've given us some numbers that are very good. For a product that was launched in April, now we have about 55,000 individual members. We have 15,000 groups, and now there's even continued partnerships like TASA that are willing to open up their ecosystem for you. But you also mentioned the intentionality when it comes to bundling of service and the value-added services when it comes to ensuring that women within the groups are also encouraged to take on, agents so that they can become agents within the groups. Ensuring that also ensures that women are becoming more savvy in how they are using digital financial products, as well as you also mentioned the interoperability of Tigo Kikoba being sector agnostic. that is really, really good, and that is a motivation for people within the groups to take it on. But then you also mentioned device financing. Gone are the days when it's just one single product that you're offering and nothing else is going to be provided. But now we are seeing people boldly, bundling services such as provision of, handsets. By not giving it to them, you're not saying people do not want charity, but how can we be innovative in how we bundle these services? So thank you very much. That was really, really good. But I will go back quickly to Appy. Hello, Appy.
Hi, Tolu.
I recall at the beginning of the year or towards the end of last year when the FSD Network Gender Collaborative Program wanted to invest in the digitization of community microfinance group. I know there were some questions that were being asked in terms of digitization of the transactions within the CMGs. Will it work or will it not work? And why do we want to digitize the transactions within the CMG? But hearing from Appy, I think something is wrong with there are some echoes that are coming from you. So, but now hearing the discussion, the usability and the benefits of CMGs, what will you say to organizations like FSD Tanzania, or financial institutions that want to go ahead and in other markets that want to go ahead and design a product? By the way, they have to understand the context of their market, really. But what would you say to them? What have you seen in terms of the benefits of digitizing the transactions of saving groups? Over to you.
Thanks, Tolu. I hope the sound is okay and not
better now. Yes, it's okay. 2 minutes. I'm giving you 2 minutes, please.
All right. Thanks, Tolu. I guess clearly, as Sachi has pointed out, there is definitely a use case and there's uptake out there. As initially pointed out, in our market, there's more than 4 million people who are using savings and loans groups as their way of financial inclusion. So with that understanding and with the need that arises, we have learned that some of the key challenges that these groups have faced is one of it is theft or loss of the money that they have served, because most of them you would find they serve them in a box and then they later on come and distribute it when they do this, either when they're loaning to each other or when they are when they are closing the cycle. So helping them to bring this money into a formal platform, such as the digital financial service like this one that Sachi has described, the Tigo Kikoba, is really important, because now it helps them to remove the aspect of losing their money because of theft. But also the other aspect that we've seen is, or even the testimonials that we've heard from early stage adapters, is that they had limited visibility in terms of the movement of funds from the overall basket to individuals, but also in terms of how they were lending to each other or paying for other community-related savings that they have done. So with this digital platform, it really helps them to have that visibility. And in that case, it helps them achieve transparency and trust among each other. And most of all, it also helps them to eliminate errors that could arise in terms of doing these paper-based related record keeping. And I guess from our point of view as financial sector deepening in Tanzania, we also see an opportunity to broaden value-added services or additional product offerings beyond what the groups are able to give to each other. Like, for example, today, the loans and savings groups are able to give to each other loans of X amount. But if these transactions are digitized or automated, it means they will begin to create their own transaction history. So individual members will have a transaction trail. And this data here can then be used to help them access, instead of accessing X amount of loan from the group, financial service providers can intervene and offer 2x, 3x loans to these women and individuals that are into the community microfinance groups. And in that case, we will see a trickle effect on their economic empowerment, as well as improvement in terms of how they are able to run their income generating activities. So we see all of these as the key benefits, and we encourage other markets that have not really started to automate or digitize the transactions of these savings and loans groups to embark on this journey, because it has a lot of benefits, and it will really bring the underserved population into the formal financial services, and also help them to build capability utilizing other diverse range of digital financial services, because beyond just saving into their own wallet, they can also begin to leverage things like being able to access the money through their own individual wallets from agents or mobile money wallets, and even in turn through the banking platforms. So we see a lot of benefits, and we encourage others to adapt in that sense.
Thank you very much, Api. There's a question for you and Zachi, but I will quickly, and thank you for expatiating on the benefits of the digitization of CMJs. It's about the ease, it's about the convenience, and it's about ensuring that there is a footprint, there's a credit footprint. Just like I earlier said, women in Africa have been saving for centuries. It is not new. Savings for women in Africa is not new. But how do we then ensure that we are able to blend both the informal and the formal systems, so that women are more empowered to scale beyond the subsistence level and have an increased income and higher productivity? So thank you very much. I'll go back to Lillian. Hi, Lillian.
Hi, Tolu. How are you?
I'm fine. As a repeat participant in GSIF design sprints and the technical assistant as well, how would you say the support has influenced the number of women that are accessing and using your services? You were in cohort 1 and now you're in cohort 2. Being a recipient of both the technical assistance and the design sprints, and as well as the innovation grants. But how has this influenced the number of women that are using your services? Over to you.
All right. Thanks, Tolu. Let me give a bit context to what we are discussing. So what's Timbani doing? We are trying to design, well, we already designed and we are piloting digital products for loans, microloans to women in business, youths, and other SMEs, fully digitalized. And this is the very first in Mozambique. And just to say this, we are happy that the Bank of Mozambique just got to us to upgrade our license to be able to give us more credit making decision, because this innovation is a game changer to reach women in every aspect of the sector, even in the rural areas, to be able to access digital funding and be able to improve their business without having to go through the bureaucracies of the traditional banking system. Having said that, the Gender Smart Innovation Facility has been helpful, even though we've started our program before we joined the facility program, but we've seen a significant increase, because there are major things that, we are actually the problem of the women, which we discovered when we went back to have that personal conversation with them. And so we came back and implemented this in the product, kind of fine-tune what we've designed for the women in the agri sector and other SME sector. And we've discovered that from the moment we started the RIP piloting, what we've discovered during the whole training, we saw an increase from 12% to 43% in terms of women that are, taking up this product now. The remaining 52%, they are youths, and then we have 5% for other SMEs that are not in these two categories. However, we think that there are still more work to do because we are tailoring this one of our products strictly for women. So our plan is at least we have about 80% of the people using this product women. So we see how we close the gender gap that we have in Mozambique and the disadvantage that the women are having in accessing funds from the traditional banking institutions. So like you said, the facility itself has helped us to, we are starting the program with training 120 women across 3 provinces, and we've already in the middle of the project. However, we feel that our target, our objective is to get at least 3,000 women trained within 2 years. So we believe that if we are able to get more support and we are able to train them, why are we training them? Because we discovered there is a fundamental problem with them. We find out that some of these women in business, they do not have proper financial record, and some of them don't have proper structure. And they struggle to separate their personal funds from the business funds. So we designed 2 courses, which we tailored to be able to solve this major problem that is a big barrier that we can't even walk around because the regulators want us to have people with proper financial record. So we are teaching them basic bookkeeping and business performance improvement and management. So we believe that, okay, after the training, we will have more women qualified to be able to access this digital facility that is very, very good for them because it is fully digital, and then it doesn't require them to give any kind of collateral. We are also working with other institutions to make sure that the KYCs are automated, is real time. We are able to do everything real time, alternative funding, and this has been very helpful. And we believe that if we are able to achieve greater number of women trained, we'll be able to also increase this percentage to about 80 or 90. And from the pilot, we discovered that apart from having the women take this facility, we've seen that they are good in paying. Actually, we don't have any woman that is defaulting. So they are so sincere, they are so honest. All they need is just this help to be able to manage themselves, to be able to manage their funds, to be able to have proper records, to be able to grow their business and all set. So I think this is very, this is going to be a very good product in the near future, or a very good innovation in the part of FSD and us and the regulators in the near future, to be able to bring all the women in every sector of the economy, even in those in suburban and rural area, into the financial ecosystem of Mozambique.
Thank you very much, Lillian. And it's really good to hear about how the products are doing, and it's not, been at the beginning, as in been at the initial phase of this project with you when you were designing. So to hear you talk about the success story now, I feel really, really elated. And yesterday I was also reading something about another organization, a financial institution that we are supporting in Mozambique, that have disbursed within the couple of months that they've launched their products. They've disbursed about 30 million Meticash, and they've been able to have 0 default. So there's a business case to serving women. There's a business case to designing products for women. It pays to design for women, but we need to understand what their needs are and how can we ensure that we are meeting the needs. There's a question, and we have 7 minutes, so 1 minute for each of the speaker now. I have a question for Sachi. Sachi.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes. Mark, one of our attendees, has asked you a question, which is, how easy is it going to be for Tigo to quickly replicate this product in all its markets? Over to you. 1 minute, please.
Thank you very much. I think it's an opportunity to leverage what we have done in Tanzania to other markets. And so we are ready to do that. We work with banking partners, we work with technology partners, and we'll be able to do that. In markets where we are not, if anyone is also ready to replicate this, we're also ready to share knowledge and advice on how this can be done, because this is a product for Africa. So whichever country is ready, we are ready to assist, support, share knowledge. Through FSDT, I'm sure you can also help. We'll be able to spread this good benefits to everyone. Let me just add that even in the other loan products that we have, women are performing better, and as simple as that. So whatever we can do to encourage our women, we are ready to do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, Sachi. And the need for innovation is not something that we can just sit on the sidelines for when it comes to Africa. I was speaking to someone and talking about the gender financing gap that we have in Africa. And I was saying 42 billion. And the person said, it's no longer 42 billion. It's now $49 billion gender financing gap. And when we look at where this gap is, the demographics that are contributing to this gap are women in rural areas, are women with agricultural livelihoods, are cross-border traders, cross-border traders. And the need for intentionality isn't something we can just think about. Is what we all need to come together to do, which takes me to Annabella. Annabella, in 1 minute, I want you to talk about what the plans of FSD Mozambique in expanding the Gender Smart Innovation Facility. You've seen that it is working. It has worked in the market. The ecosystem is changing. There's a shift. We have not gotten to the destination. We are very happy with where we are when it comes to the journey. But what can you do to expand so much that 12% that we still have in terms of financial inclusion is closed, and also Mozambique can become an exemplary authority in this? Over to you, 1 minute.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. I think today we are at the point that we have already engaged with the financial service providers to teach them how to women is being a viable segment. We need to continue designing to empower. As Lillian was saying, this design is not just to empower FSPs, but also to empower the end users when it comes to using these solutions that are coming very innovative to the market. We need to empower these women that they will make benefits, and we need to solve their problems in the real economy life. And then we're talking about women in the rural areas, women in agriculture. There is women in the informal sector, which are many. So our approach is to continue to work with the FSPs or design also of digital financial services to continue to change their approach and to design their solutions with intentionality. Because if we want to do it, we must also, but also we need to bring the regulator to change their approach, the way they see women. So we need to make a business case. So there is a lot of advocacy work that we need to see with
Annabella, I have to run now. We all have to run because we have 2 minutes now. But I'll quickly go back to Appy. Appy, 1 minute and 30 seconds, not 1 minute. Over to you on how the innovations on the gender alternative credit scoring as well as the digitization. What can you say? What is the next step for FSD Tanzania? 30 seconds.
The next step for us is really to drive scale up of these products to more women in Tanzania and youth, in order to really help them benefit from the financial inclusion and towards empowering their well-being and livelihood and economic enrichment.
Okay, thank you very much. We still have questions that hasn't been answered, but one thing that we can say is that we are going to aggregate these questions and we are going to answer, the panelists are going to answer, and we'll share it with the CFI representatives so that you can get answers to all your questions. But we are very happy that you are able to sit with us to hear about the great work that we've been doing at the FSD Network Gender Collaborative Program. We are currently working with 9 financial sector deepening organizations in Africa. We've done a lot of investment in product design, in social norms and gender norms change, regulatory policies, and we are very excited to have you on this on today's session, and we look forward to partnering more with CFI to ensure that we are bringing, we are addressing topical issues. But once again, I just want to say thank you to my panelists today. You've done a fantastic job in sharing about what you're doing. And please, in case you want to our attendees, thank you so much for sitting with us, for listening to our panelists, and for even cheering us on. Thank you very much. In case you have any questions, they are all on LinkedIn. You can reach out to them on LinkedIn. But thank you once again. My name is Tolu Lope Babajide, and I'm very excited. I'm very happy to have you for this year's live session. Thank you, and bye, everyone.